The rain fell hard on the broken city as Lieutenant Amy Collins moved through the rubble with her scanner in hand. The readings showed life forms nearby, but they were not human signatures. Her boots crunched on glass and metal debris from the buildings that once stood tall in this alien settlement. 3 days ago, her unit had received a distress signal from this planet in the outer rim. When they arrived, they found only destruction and death. The insectoid creatures known as Vex had swept through this world like a plague, leaving nothing alive in their path. At least that was what the report said. Amy paused near a collapsed structure when she heard something that made her blood run cold. It was crying, soft and broken like a child in pain. Her training told her to be careful because the Vex were known to use sounds to lure prey into traps. But something deep in her gut told her this was different. She followed the sound around a pile of twisted metal and concrete. There, hidden in a small space between two fallen beams, was the source of the crying. It was a little girl no more than 6 years old by human standards. But she was not human. The child had pale blue skin that seemed to glow faintly in the dim light. Her hair was silver white and fell in soft waves around her shoulders. Most striking were her eyes, which were large and violet-colored like deep space. She wore torn clothing that might have once been beautiful, but now hung in tatters around her small frame. When the child saw Amy, she tried to scramble deeper into her hiding place. Fear filled her alien features, and she made small, whimpering sounds. Amy slowly lowered her weapon and held up her empty hands. "Hey there, little one," Amy said in the softest voice she could manage. "I am not going to hurt you." The child did not seem to understand the words, but she stopped trying to escape. Her violet eyes studied Amy with intelligence that seemed far beyond her apparent age. Amy noticed deep scratches on the girl's arms and legs. Some were fresh, while others had started to heal. Amy activated her universal translator and tried again. "Can you understand me?" Now the child tilted her head and then nodded slowly. "You are not like the bad things," she said. In a voice like wind chimes, "You do not smell of death?" "No, sweetie, I am not like them," Amy replied. "My name is Amy. What is your name?" "I am Zara," the child whispered. "My family called me their little star before the bad things came." Amy felt her heart clench at the pain in those words. "Where is your family, Zara?" The little girl's eyes filled with tears that sparkled like liquid silver. The bad things took them away. They said I was too small and weak to be worth keeping. They left me here to die with the other broken things. Amy looked around at the devastation and felt anger burn in her chest. The Vex were ruthless, but leaving a child to starve was beyond cruel. She knelt down to be at Zara's eye level. "Well, they were wrong about you being weak," Amy said. "You survived when grown-ups could not. That makes you very strong." Zara crept a little closer. "Are you going to leave me too?" "Never," Amy said without hesitation. "I am going to take you somewhere safe." As Amy reached out her hand, Zara flinched back. Amy could see the fear was still strong in the child. "I know you are scared," Amy said, "but I promise you that no one will ever hurt you again while I am around." Something in Amy's voice must have convinced the little alien because Zara slowly reached out and took her hand. The moment their skin touched, Amy felt a strange tingling sensation. Zara's touch was warm and seemed to pulse with some kind of energy. "You feel different from others," Zara said with wonder in her voice. "Your thoughts are bright and strong." Amy realized that Zara might have some kind of telepathic ability. Many alien species had mental powers that humans did not fully understand. "Can you read my mind?" Amy asked. "Not read exactly," Zara explained, "but I can feel what you feel. Most beings have darkness in them, but you have light. You really do want to help me." Amy smiled and gently squeezed the small hand in hers. "Come on, little star. Let's get you out of here." As they made their way through the ruins, Amy kept her weapon ready. The Vex might have moved on, but there could still be dangerous creatures lurking in the wreckage. Zara stayed close to her side and seemed to grow more trusting with each step. When they reached Amy's transport ship, Zara stopped and stared up at it with wide eyes. "It is so big," she breathed. "Is this your home?" "Sort of," Amy replied. "It takes me to many different worlds." "Would you like to see inside?" Zara nodded eagerly and Amy helped her up the ramp. Inside the ship, Amy showed Zara to a small cabin that had a bed and basic supplies. "You can rest here," Amy said. "Are you hungry?" "Very hungry," Zara admitted. "I have not eaten in many days." Amy went to the food storage and found some emergency rations. They were not fancy, but they would provide nutrition. She heated them up and brought them to Zara, who ate like she had not seen food in weeks. As Zara ate, Amy contacted her commanding officer, Captain Lisa Stone. "Captain, I have found a survivor." Amy reported, "A child of the local species." "She was left behind by the Vex. Any signs of injury or disease?" the captain asked. "Some minor wounds, but she seems healthy overall." Amy replied, "She has some kind of empathic abilities." "Bring her to the medical bay for a full examination," Captain Stone ordered. "We will need to find her people or arrange for proper care." After Zara finished eating, Amy took her to see the ship doctor. Dr. Karen Price was gentle with the frightened child, and her examination showed that Zara was malnourished but otherwise in good health for someone who had survived alone for days. "Her species seems remarkably resilient," Dr. Price told Amy privately, "but she has been through severe trauma. She will need time and patience to heal emotionally." Over the next few days, as the ship traveled to the nearest space station, Zara rarely left Amy's side. She seemed to have formed a strong attachment to the human who had saved her. Amy found herself growing protective of the little alien girl as well. Zara was curious about everything on the ship. She asked endless questions about how things worked and listened with fascination to Amy's explanations. Amy discovered that Zara was incredibly intelligent and learned new concepts with amazing speed. "Your people must be very smart," Amy told her one day as they sat in the observation deck looking out at the stars. "My parents said I was special even among our kind." Zara replied sadly, "They were teaching me the old ways before the bad things came." "What kind of old ways?" Amy asked. "How to touch minds across great distances." Zara explained, "How to feel the life force of all living things. How to heal hurts that cannot be seen." Amy realized that Zara's people might have had advanced psychic abilities that were now lost. The destruction of her world was not just a tragedy for the individuals who died, but for the knowledge and culture that died with them. When they reached the space station, Amy expected that Zara would be taken into care by alien social services. But there was a problem. Zara's species, the Kethera, were now considered extinct. There were no others of her kind left alive anywhere in known space. Captain Stone called Amy to her ready room for a private meeting. "The child cannot stay with us permanently," the captain said. "We are a military vessel, not a daycare center. With respect, Captain, there is nowhere else for her to go." Amy argued, "Every member of her species is dead. She has no family and no homeworld." "That is not our responsibility," Captain Stone replied. "There are facilities that care for refugee children." Amy knew what those facilities were like. They were overcrowded and understaffed. A child like Zara with special needs and abilities would not receive proper care. She might even become the subject of scientific experimentation. "Captain, I request permission to apply for extended leave." Amy said, "I want to care for Zara myself." Captain Stone looked surprised. "You barely know this child. Are you prepared to give up your military career?" "If necessary, yes," Amy replied without hesitation. "She saved my life as much as I saved hers." "How did she save your life?" Amy had been thinking about that question herself. "Before I found her, I was becoming cold inside. Years of war and death were making me forget why I became a soldier in the first place. Zara reminded me that we fight to protect the innocent. She gave me back my sense of purpose." Captain Stone studied Amy for a long moment. "You are one of my best officers. I would hate to lose you." "Then do not make me choose between duty and conscience," Amy said. After much discussion and paperwork, Amy was granted extended family leave to care for Zara. They settled on a peaceful colony world called Haven, where many different species lived together in harmony. Amy found a small house near a lake where Zara could play safely. The local school was willing to take a special student, and there were doctors who understood alien physiology. It seemed like the perfect place for a new start. On their first night in the new house, Zara came to Amy with tears in her violet eyes. "Will you really stay with me forever?" she asked. "Even when I grow up," Amy knelt down and pulled the little girl into a gentle hug. "Forever and always, little star," she promised. "You are my family now." As Zara drifted off to sleep that night, Amy watched over her and made a silent vow. She would protect this precious child and help her grow strong, and maybe someday Zara would help rebuild what was lost by teaching others the old ways of her people. The universe had taken everything from Zara, but it had also brought her to exactly the right person at the right time. Sometimes the greatest victories came not from battles won but from innocence preserved and hope restored.